Hey everyone, Pastor Curtis here with another quick question video. Hannah asked, who commanded the sun and moon to stand still? And that's a really great question, and I have a quick answer. The answer to today's question is Joshua. He was the man who commanded the sun and the moon to stand still. And at the time he commanded the sun and the moon to stand still, he was leading an attack to save the Gibeonite people. They were attacking the Amorites, and basically they had the Amorites right where they wanted them. They were going to win the victory, except that Joshua noticed that they weren't going to have enough time, literally not enough daylight. And so he commanded the sun and moon to stand still. During the same story, there were two unnatural things that happened. First, in the book of Joshua, chapter 10, verse 11, we see this about Joshua's enemies when it says this: as they fled before Israel on the road down from Beth Horon to Azekah, the Lord hurled large hailstones down on them, and more of them died from hail than were killed by the swords of the Israelites. But that wasn't enough. Still, even though that crazy thing happened, that hail landed on their enemies, that wasn't enough to completely destroy them. So in the afternoon, Joshua, like I said, realized his army would need more time. And so, in faith to God, Joshua commanded the sun and the moon to stand still. Listen to the verses in Joshua 10 that recount that story. Let me read them for you. Verse 12 says this: on the day the Lord gave the Amorites over to Israel, Joshua said to the Lord in the presence of Israel, sun, stand still over Gibeon, and you, moon, over the valley of Elijah. So the sun stood still and the moon stopped, till the nation avenged itself on its enemies. As it is written in the book of Jashar, the sun stopped in the middle of the sky and delayed going down about a full day. There has never been a day like it before or since, a day when the Lord listened to a human being. Surely the Lord was fighting for Israel. How crazy. Those two events completely destroyed the enemies of the Israelite people, and it was mostly thanks to the faith of one man, Joshua, and his faith in God. He prayed and he believed that God would help them win. And he knew that he was following God's will for his life. He knew that he had God's blessing. And since he was so sure it was God's will, he was confident that God would answer his prayers. God killed his enemies with hail, and he even slowed down the sun so that it took a very long time to set, so they would have more time to fight. And that leaves me to think, I wonder when the last time you were so confident about God's will for your life. Have you ever done something that you knew without a doubt that God desired for your life? I know for me, too often I do what I want, what makes me feel good, and what I think would be best. But it's not very often that I go to my Bible and go to God and pray and see what God wants. What does God actually want? I think Joshua in this story teaches us a powerful lesson. If we are willing to look really hard for God's will, and if we know for sure that what we are doing lines up with the Bible, we can actually have full confidence in God during that moment. Maybe for some of you teenagers, it will be a problem like this: respecting your parents, telling the truth when you know you should, being a good friend to someone who has no friends, or maybe it's telling someone you know about Jesus. There are so many things that you can do that God will fully support and does fully support in the Bible. But I wonder if you've ever taken the time to think, does God fully support what I'm about to do? I hope you have. And I pray that if you haven't asked yourself that question, you'll start asking yourself that question today. And really, anytime you do anything in this life. Thanks for the question, Hannah. And God bless you all. I hope this video helps you today.